Welcome to UK Chronics. Tonight, the fairy tale finally breaks apart. Meghan has decided to end things with Harry. And as famous investigator Tom Bower confirms, the plan to leave is already moving forward. You are watching the edge of royal history. It is now truly finished, and the countdown to the most costly and most shocking divorce in royal history has just reached zero. While people around the world were watching Montecito and hoping to see signs of peace, well-known investigative writer Tom Bower has dropped a huge revelation that has sent shock waves from the hills of California all the way to the gates of Buckingham Palace. This is not just another rumor from some unknown source. This is the same man who predicted the fall of the Markles many years ago. And today, he is confirming the one thing Prince Harry feared the most. Meghan Markle has made her choice, and she is preparing to leave him. The fairy tale that started with a grand wedding watched by millions has now turned into a cold and carefully planned exit. We are now in February 2026, and the difference between then and now is very painful to see. While Prince William stands on the world stage, representing King Charles in important global meetings, Harry is stuck in a golden cage that he created himself, not realizing that the woman he gave up everything for has already mentally moved on. Tom Bower's latest information shows that legal papers are being prepared. The separation of their brand is already done, and a huge deal to release their story in parts is about to reveal every hidden secret of their marriage to whoever pays the most. You need to understand how serious this moment is. For years, people have wondered if Harry would ever see the truth of his situation. Now, according to Bower, that moment of truth is being forced on him, but not by his family, by his own wife. Meghan is not just leaving him. She is planning a complete personal and professional downfall for Prince Harry. She is moving away from being a duchess and stepping into the role of a global power figure. And in her new life, a troubled and lonely prince is seen as nothing more than extra weight she does not need. The deal that Bower talks about is not just about writing a book. It is about taking full control of the story. Meghan has spent many months, maybe even years, recording every problem, every argument, and every weakness of Harry so that when the breakup happens, she comes out as both the victim and the winner, while he is left with nothing except memories of the life he gave up. The pattern of leaving people is no longer just an idea. It is a clear and proven strategy. From her father Thomas Markle to her first husband Trevor Engelson, Meghan has shown a pattern of cutting people off as soon as they are no longer useful in her journey to the top. Harry was the biggest step in that climb. But now that they have reached the highest level of Hollywood society, he is being thrown away just like the others. Stay with us for the next hour as we explain all 7 stages of this breakdown, because what Tom Bower has just revealed about the Revenge 2 deal will change everything you thought you knew about the royal family. The final blow is about to land, and its name is Revenge Part 2. Tom Bower, the man whose investigative skills have brought down powerful figures and exposed some of the most hidden people in British society, is no longer just writing books. He has now turned his findings into something much stronger. We are not talking about a simple book release anymore. Bower has secured a huge deal worth millions of dollars with News UK, focusing especially on the wide reach of the Sun newspaper. For those who do not understand how the media world works, a deal like this means one clear thing. It means a planned daily release of shocking details, carefully designed to take over the global news cycle for many weeks. It is like a slow and steady destruction of someone's reputation. Why is this the final and most serious blow for the Montecito couple? Because unlike Harry's own book, Spare, which many people saw as emotional and one-sided, Bower's work is based on strong and real statements from people who were actually there. He has spent years collecting proof from unhappy former staff members, family members who were pushed away, and insiders who have now decided that telling the truth matters more than keeping their silence agreements. Meghan Markle is said to be very afraid, and she has good reason to feel that way. This book does not just lightly talk about their move away from London. It goes deep into the dark center of their marriage during the years 2024 and 2025, the time when small cracks turned into huge gaps. But here is the detail that should truly worry you. Bower is not only focusing on what happened in the past. His newest information suggests that the series release will happen at the exact same time as Meghan's planned return to her career. Just as she gets ready to show her new solo brand to the world, people everywhere will be reading daily headlines about her reported plan to leave the marriage. Sources say that Bower has recorded a pattern of behavior that cannot be ignored, a clear and planned distancing that started many months ago. Every private meeting, every stay at different hotels, and every business trip taken alone has been carefully noted. Bauer hints that he has gathered details that even the palace has not seen yet. There are quiet talks in London that King Charles was told about the contents of this series weeks earlier during a private meeting with top media leaders. The king's reaction was complete silence. There were no legal actions, no urgent phone calls to Montecito, and no offers to protect his son. The palace is allowing the storm to come. They are not just stepping aside. They are letting the truth do the job they could not do themselves. Meghan understands that in the court of public opinion, being consistent is very important. If Bauer can show that she has been running a professional separation while still publicly holding on to Harry for attention, her trust and image will be destroyed. This deal with the son makes sure that leaving Prince Harry will not be something private. It will become a very public breakdown for everyone to watch. As we move into the next part of this situation, we must ask, if the king has stepped away and the most feared writer in the world has strong proof, what does Harry really have left? The answer is found in the hard truth of their current professional separation, which is much more advanced than most people realized. If you carefully look at the red carpet events in New York, the gala dinners in Los Angeles, and the important business meetings in San Francisco during 2024 and 2025, you will start to see a clear and worrying pattern. The strong image of Harry and Meghan together, the powerful idea of two people standing side by side against the world, has disappeared. What we are seeing now is what Tom Bauer calls a planned professional divorce. It is a smart separation meant to make sure that when the personal breakup is announced, Meghan Markle's brand stays clean and is not damaged by Prince Harry's falling public image. Take some time to look at their recent public appearances. For many years, they were always together, often called salt and pepper because they were never seen apart. But in the past year, that close bond has clearly broken. Meghan has been seen at big and important events, surrounded by a new group of powerful business investors and major Hollywood figures, clearly without her husband. She is no longer presented as one half of the Sussex couple. Instead, she is shaping herself as a single tech businesswoman and a lifestyle leader. Experts in celebrity branding explain that this is not by chance. It is a planned change. By going alone to the most important events, she is teaching both the public and the media to see her as independent. She is creating a life where Harry is not needed. At the same time, where is Harry? He is slowly being pushed to the background, showing up alone in charity videos or smaller sports events that feel like reminders of his past royal life. The difference between them is striking. While Meghan is seen smiling and talking with top movie directors and very rich tech leaders, Harry often appears serious, alone, and honestly uncomfortable in the fast-moving world of American fame. Tom Bauer explains that this professional separation is the first step in the pattern of leaving. It allows Meghan to test the situation. Can she live and succeed without the prince? The answer, based on her recent solo appearances, seems to be a clear yes. But this separation is not only about public events. It has also reached their business world. Look closely at their work deals. The joint projects that once formed the base of their life after leaving the royal family have quietly changed. Sources close to their talent agency WME say that the attention has completely shifted to Meghan's solo work, including her podcast plans, her lifestyle brand, and even her possible move into political activity. Harry's projects, however, have slowed down. The excitement around him in the industry has almost disappeared. It feels like the engine of their shared brand has been separated, and Meghan is the only one who has been given a chance to escape safely. This leads us to an important question. Why would a couple who fought so strongly to stay together suddenly choose to work so far apart? In the world of high-level crisis handling, this is called narrative distancing. If Harry keeps being compared to disgraced figures like Prince Andrew, a comparison he is said to strongly dislike, Meghan cannot risk standing beside him when those headlines appear. She is stepping away carefully. She is making sure that her brand value is not pulled down by his growing legal problems, his ongoing family conflicts, and his falling popularity in public opinion. Bauer's research shows that even the way they communicate has started to change. Meghan's team is focused on the future, on building success, and on staying positive. Harry's story is still stuck in the past, filled with complaints and the pain from his childhood. They are no longer speaking in the same way, and they are clearly no longer moving toward the same goals. This professional separation creates a big unanswered question. It makes us wonder that if they no longer work together and no longer share the same vision, then what is actually keeping their marriage together? The answer is becoming clearer with each passing day, and it leads directly to a frightening financial truth that Harry never expected. As we move forward, we will reveal why this professional distance is only the beginning of a much darker situation. It leads to the realization that while Meghan builds her own empire, the royal family has made a firm decision that will leave Harry completely unprotected in the storm that is coming. As the professional pressure builds, a much more serious reality is starting to become clear to Prince Harry, a reality based on the hard and simple math of living in America. 4 years, the Sussexes have lived a lifestyle that costs many tens of millions of dollars every year. From their $20 million Montecito mansion, to a level of security similar to what a small country might have, to clothing and travel costs that reflect global royalty, the speed at which they spend money has been extremely high. But as Tom Bower explains, the financial safety Harry believed would always protect him has been slowly taken away by Buckingham Palace. The order from King Charles III is now final. There will be no help. In the past, what people called the Bank of Dad provided millions when needed, but now that support is completely closed. According to Bower's sources, the king has clearly told his advisors that the British monarchy will not pay for a divorce, and they will not give Harry financial help if his life in America falls apart. This is not only about money. It is about removing all support. The palace has watched Harry and Meghan spend the last few years criticizing the very institution that gave them their position. Now, the king's patience has come to an end. There is also a deeper and more painful side to this financial situation. Harry is said to feel more and more upset and embarrassed by the growing comparisons between him and his uncle, Prince Andrew. For someone who takes pride in his military career and his modern way of thinking, being compared to a disgraced royal is very difficult to accept. However, these similarities are becoming harder for people in America to ignore. Like Andrew, Harry is now seen as a royal without a clear role. He is a man with a title but no strong purpose, living on a shrinking inheritance while the world continues to move forward. People magazine, which has often been used by the Sussexes to share their preferred stories, has recently published reports about Harry's increasing frustration. When even a media outlet that usually supports you starts sharing stories about your struggles and comparisons to Prince Andrew, it shows that control over the story has been lost. This is a clear change in how the media is telling the story. The image of being a victim that worked well in 2021 is now being replaced by an image of being a problem. Meghan Markle, who understands public image very well, sees this change clearly. She knows that in Hollywood, being connected to failure or embarrassment can destroy a brand. Tom Bower's research suggests that Meghan is very aware of the situation involving Prince Andrew. She has seen how the royal family handled him, removing his roles, stopping him from using his HRH title in public, and cutting him off financially. She has no plan to be pulled into that same situation. This is why the deal to release the story in parts with The Sun is so carefully planned. It gives her the chance to step away from Harry's royal problems before any financial collapse becomes known to the public. We must also closely examine the Sussex Foundation and their different business ventures. Financial reports from late 2025 show a clear drop in charity donations and no real growth in their business income. The Spotify deal is now something from the past. The Netflix contract is getting close to its end, and there are no big renewals being seen. Harry is starting to understand that he is running out of time, but he is moving forward while carrying heavy weight that slows him down. He is connected to a lifestyle he can no longer pay for and a wife who is already creating a strong financial system that does not include him. The saddest part of this money problem is that Harry seems to have no clear plan to escape it. Unlike Meghan, who has her new WME team and many advisors from Silicon Valley, Harry is left with very little support. His old friends in the UK have been pushed away. His family is silent. He is a prince living far from home, realizing that without the financial support of the crown, his freedom is starting to look like a slow path toward losing everything. King Charles is said to have told close friends that even though he loves his son, he will not allow the Meghan Markle situation to be paid for by the Duchy of Lancaster. If Harry wants a divorce, he will need to pay for it himself. If he wants security, he must find a way to earn it. This decision to offer no help is a strong move by the monarchy. It takes away the last bit of control that Harry had. As we move forward, we will see how this lack of money connects directly to Meghan's pattern of leaving and why Harry's past may have already shown what his future could be. To fully understand why Tom Bower's latest claims are so serious, we must look past the current news and study the repeated behavior seen in Meghan Markle's past. In the study of human behavior, There is a simple idea. The best way to guess future actions is to look at past actions. What Bauer calls the dump pattern is not something new. It is a carefully developed method that Meghan has used very precisely many times before. Prince Harry is not the first person to be brought close to her, raised to a useful position, and then slowly removed when his value to her image started to fall. He is simply the most well-known example so far. Let's examine the pattern. The first major example of this was Trevor Engelson, Meghan's first husband. Like Harry, Trevor was someone who could give Meghan something very important at that time. He helped her enter the world of film and television production. They were together for 9 years. But the moment Meghan got her role on the show Suits and moved to Toronto, giving her a platform of her own, Trevor was no longer needed. The story of her sending her wedding rings back to him by registered mail is not just gossip. It shows a very clear and cold way of ending things. No personal meeting, no long discussions, just a sudden and complete break once the person was no longer useful. Tom Bauer says this same pattern appeared again in her relationship with her father, Thomas Markle. For many years, Thomas supported her, paid for her private schooling, and helped her follow her dreams in Hollywood. But as soon as his presence became a possible problem for her carefully built royal image, he was pushed aside. The change from a loving father to someone seen negatively happened very quickly. This is a key part of the pattern. There is no middle ground. A person is either helpful to the brand or they are a problem that must be removed. Now apply this idea to the current situation of the Sussex marriage in February 2026. For 5 years, Prince Harry was the most important asset. He brought the royal title, worldwide attention, and royal family connection that helped Meghan rise from a television actress to one of the most talked-about women in the world. But as we have seen in earlier parts, Harry's usefulness has reached its highest point and is now going down. He has created distance from his family. His popularity in the United States has dropped, and his legal issues have made him look like someone focused on complaints instead of progress. For someone who wants to build a huge lifestyle and technology empire worth billions, Harry is no longer the driving force. He has become a weight holding things back. Bauer's information suggests that the pattern of leaving always starts with a professional change, which we have already seen. The next step is changing the story. Notice how the media coverage has started to shift. We now see more reports about Meghan feeling her patience being tested, her wish to move forward for the sake of her children, and her focus on building the future, while Harry is shown as someone still living in the past. This change is not random. It is planned. It is the process of slowly removing trust from the partner before the final breakup. By the time the divorce is officially announced, the public has already been guided to believe that Meghan had no choice but to leave in order to protect herself. There is a cold and careful way in which all of this is being managed. Sources close to the Montecito home have quietly told Bauer about a double life being lived. On one side, there are occasional forced photo moments meant to complete remaining contracts. On the other side, Meghan is said to be working with a special group of legal and public relations experts who focus on high-level celebrity separations. These are the same kinds of experts who handled some of the most uneven divorces in Hollywood history. They are not just planning a breakup. They are aiming for a complete win. Is Harry aware of this pattern? It is difficult to know. Experts who study behavior say that when someone is inside the early mirror stage of this kind of relationship, they are often the last person to notice that it is ending. Harry has given up his country, his military roles, and his family for this marriage. To accept that he is being left would mean accepting what could be the biggest failure of his life. But Tom Bauer's second book, Revenge, is about to make that truth impossible to ignore. The series in The Sun will act like a mirror, showing Harry clearly where he stands, as just another chapter in a story that Meghan Markle has already finished. As we move into the sixth part, we will see the final and painful contrast that makes this separation unavoidable. While Harry is slowly being removed from his own marriage, his brother, Prince William, is rising to a level of global influence that makes Harry's current life seem small and tragic. The feelings of jealousy, the deep loneliness, and the realization that life outside the royal family was not better are now building toward a final breaking point. In the clear and harsh reality of February 2026, the most painful part of Prince Harry's situation is not only what he has lost. It is also what his brother, Prince William, has gained. On the global stage of power and royal duty, the distance between the two brothers has grown from a simple gap into a huge divide. While Harry is alone in Montecito, watching his marriage fall apart under the pressure of Tom Bauer's claims, William is rising to the highest level of international leadership. This difference is the final emotional blow, making Harry's freedom look more like a sad exile that he chose himself. This contrast was seen most clearly during the funeral of Pope Francis. At a moment that mattered to the entire world, it was not King Charles III who stood among global leaders and heads of state. It was the Prince of Wales. Because of the king's ongoing health issues, William was sent to represent the British monarchy. This was not just a funeral. It felt like a moment showing William's rising global importance. He entered the room carrying the weight of history. He appeared calm, ready, and respected by all. He was seen speaking with presidents and prime ministers, already acting like a future king with a strong and serious presence that Harry can now only watch from a distance. While William stood at the center of world attention, Harry was said to be at home dealing with the problems caused by the serialized story in The Sun. Think about that carefully. One brother is representing a 1,000-year-old institution at the funeral of a global religious leader. The other is being examined in a tabloid newspaper by a writer focused on exposing him. This strong difference is what Tom Bower points to as clear proof of Harry's failure. Harry gave up his royal position for a personal brand, only to discover that the brand is unstable. Meanwhile, the royal role he left behind remains one of the most stable and powerful systems in the world. But this is not only about public events. It is also about the way the two brothers carry themselves. William's rise is built on duty, quiet strength, and steadiness. He does not need to share private details to pay for his safety, because the state provides it. He does not need to appear in Netflix shows to stay important, because his importance is already part of history. Harry, however, has become a creator of content. And as every creator knows, your success depends on your latest moment of attention. Now that the story of being a victim has lost its power, Harry has nothing new left to offer. He has already used his stories about his family, and by doing so, he has left himself with no protection. The mental and emotional effect on Harry cannot be fully measured. Sources say that Harry watched the news about William at the Pope's funeral with a mix of deep focus and sadness. It reminded him of the life he chose to leave behind, a life filled with purpose. In Montecito, his role has now been reduced to being a side character in Meghan's story. But as we have already seen in earlier parts, Meghan is slowly removing him from that story. When Prince William takes a step forward, he gains respect. When Harry steps forward, people compare him more and more to Prince Andrew. Tom Bower explains that Harry is holding on to a royal identity, even while that identity is slowly disappearing around him. He wants to keep the respect of being a prince while also living like a celebrity. But it is not possible to have both. The world is watching William get ready to become king, while at the same time they are watching Harry get ready for a divorce. The situation is deeply ironic. Harry left the United Kingdom to escape the feeling of being watched all the time. Yet now he finds himself in a much harsher environment, where even his own wife may be the biggest threat. This leads us to the main question. As William's success reaches its highest point, Harry is reaching his lowest. The palace's decision not to help, which we talked about earlier, feels even harsher when compared to the strong support and resources being given to William. It is almost as if the royal family has made a clear choice about the future, and Harry is no longer part of it. He is not seen as a danger to the monarchy anymore. Instead, he is seen as a warning example. The question we must now ask as we move toward the final part of this story is not whether the end will come, but how it will happen. With Tom Bower's book coming soon, with the daily release of details shaping public opinion, and with William standing strong on the world stage, Harry is facing a complete downfall. The final decision is about to be revealed, and it is one that neither Harry nor the public expected when this story first began. The question is no longer if the storm will arrive, but how much of Prince Harry will remain after it passes. We have followed the clear pattern of leaving, the planned professional separation, and the harsh reality of a royal family that has fully closed its doors and stopped its financial support. But the final moment, when the serialized story meets the real collapse in Montecito, is expected to happen much sooner than Harry imagined. Tom Bower's Revenge Part 2 is not just another book. It is the final judgment on a 5-year journey that has failed on a global level. So when will the final moment happen? According to sources, the legal steps for a full professional separation are already being completed. Meghan Markle is someone who moves quickly, like a fast-growing tech company, while Harry is still living with the slower and more formal pace of the royal life he left behind. By the time the public reads the final part of Bauer's series in The Sun, the story will already be decided. Meghan will be seen as the survivor, and Harry will be seen as the problem. The unanswered question of their marriage is now closing, and the exit path is becoming clear for the Duchess. But there is still one last question that remains. Is there a way back for the lost son? As Prince William rises to greater global power, the difference between the brothers has taken away Harry's last support, his importance. If the marriage ends, Harry will face a choice that once seemed impossible in 2018. He can stay in America as a forgotten celebrity, always compared to figures like Prince Andrew, or he can lower himself and quietly try to return to the United Kingdom. But as we have seen, King Charles III and William are building a future where there may not be a place for him. This fairy tale did not end with happiness. It is ending with a serialized story and a planned separation. The time of the Sussex era is coming to an end, and as Tom Bauer has said, Meghan has already made her move. What do you think? Is Harry really a victim of a planned pattern of being left? Or has he simply run out of time and luck in the difficult world of Hollywood? Should the royal family give him a chance to return home? Or is refusing to help the only way to protect the monarchy? Share your thoughts below. I read every comment because this discussion is only just starting. And if you want to stay updated on the next big royal story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You will not want to miss what happens when the final chapter is revealed.